your cargo securement responsibilities aren't over. According to the law, you are required to stop within the first 50 miles of your trip to check the securement of your load. Even though you are sure your load was secured properly, the vibration from driving can cause your load to shift. Typically, this occurs within the first 50 miles. If you find it has shifted, tighten or re-secure it immediately. This may include adding more securement devices. Make sure you continue to monitor the load throughout your trip. If your load is tarped, make sure the tarp doesn't flap. Be aware that your load securement may be compromised due to rough roads, sudden braking, or taking a sharp turn. You're required to re-examine your load when you make a change of duty status, or when the vehicle has been driven for 3 hours, or the vehicle has been driven 150 miles, whichever happens first. In the regs, certain types of cargo have specific procedures for securement. Let's take a look at a few of the more common commodity types. Logs must be hauled on a special vehicle built or adapted specifically for the transportation of logs. These vehicles have bunks, bolsters, stakes, or standards which cradle the logs to prevent them from moving. Unless using a crib-type trailer, tie-downs must also be used to secure the logs to the trailer. The logs must fit tightly together, solidly touching the bunks, bolsters, stakes, or standards, and the load must be below the top of each stake, bunk, or standard. Bundles of dressed lumber, packaged lumber, and building products such as plywood or gypsum board are required to be loaded side by side, touching each other. If there is one tier or level of product, the securement requirements follow the general provisions. If the load is more than one tier, bundles must be blocked by stakes on the sides of the trailer, or there must be blocking or friction mats between the tiers. And in all cases, the proper number of tie-downs must still be used. For each bundle over 5 feet long, at least 2 tie-downs are required. When hauling heavy equipment or machinery with wheels or tracks, which weigh 10,000 pounds or more, the equipment's accessories, such as a hydraulic shovel, must be lowered and secured to the vehicle. An articulated vehicle must be secured so that articulation cannot occur while it's being transported. Equipment which has wheels or tracks must be secured to prevent movement in any direction, with a minimum of 4 tie-downs. These tie-downs have to be placed as close as possible to the front and rear of the piece of equipment, or the tie-downs have to be attached to mounting points that are on the piece of equipment specifically for tie-down purposes. If you haul a load of concrete pipe, determining how to secure it will depend on the length and diameter of the pipe. Other factors to take into consideration include whether you are transporting pipe with different diameters and whether it's just one tier or multiple tiers. Remember, the aggregate working load limit of all tie-downs must be at least half the total weight of all the pipes in that group. As always, your goal is to secure the load so there is no movement in any direction. Another commodity that must be secured in a certain manner is metal coils. Each individual coil must be secured to the flatbed to prevent any movement. However, there are particular ways to secure this type of load depending on whether the coils are loaded with the eyes vertical or with the eyes crosswise. And if the metal coils are transported in rows, there are requirements for how each row must be secured. Since company policies may vary, always check to see if your company has specific rules. For example, some companies may require that metal coils may only be transported with the eyes vertical.